Hey everyone, alright, we are going to get into the first Anthrax album for my album reviews. My knowledge of Anthrax prior to borrowing this album from Drew, and speaking of borrowing albums from Drew, the next batch of reviews are going to be a mix of my albums and Drew's albums. That Wasp one that was requested is coming. Yeah, so, hello Pandora, everybody, okay. So, Anthrax, Persistence of Time. I'm pretty sure Drew bought this used based on the sticker that's still stuck there. Because I have one or two that have that same red mark from Dr. Disc back in the 90s. Okay. So much to say, and yet so little to say about this album. Alright. First off, I don't understand why Slayer is bigger than Anthrax. I do and I don't. After listening to this album, I do and I don't get it. I like the riffs in Anthrax better, and I like the vocals in Anthrax better. But there is one major thing holding this band back as far as this album goes. All right. So I asked Drew specifically to borrow this album, and the reason I asked to borrow this album is it wasn't, I didn't say, Drew, I want to borrow Persistence of Time. I said, Drew, I want to borrow the album that is the closest to when Anthrax appeared on Married with Children. Because that was where I knew Anthrax from. So that Drew gave me this album to listen to and review. I enjoyed listening to this album and reviewing it. I've been working on it while I've been working on a project of mine. I'll give you a sneak peek of the project of mine here while I'm doing this review. Okay, so the production on this album sucks. The mixing on this album sucks. Everything on this album related to the making of this album sucks. This album was recorded they started recording in 89 and released it in 90. It is AAD marked on the back here, so this is before remastering. On vinyl, this might not sound bad. This is one of those CDs where AAD on a CD, for anybody that doesn't know, analog recorded, analog mixed, digitally released. So basically, they just took the tapes as they were, no touch-ups, no nothing, just threw them onto a CD. For this time period, for 1990, that would have been normal. But even for an album released in 1990, there are a lot of albums I own that are from around this time period. And they don't sound as bad as this does. You can literally hear that everybody was kind of recorded separately and then thrown together in the mix. Yeah. But they were all recorded in a large room separately, it sounds like, almost. It's like, you picture a large... Picture your school gym when you're in grade school, okay? Picture your grade school gym. You know, you got the drummer in one corner, you got a guitarist in one corner, a bassist in one corner. I don't remember how many guitarists are in this band, sorry. Yeah, 2 guitars. So each guitarist is in a corner, bassist in a corner, drummer's in a corner, and then the vocalist is sitting in the middle. And just so we're clear, the only 2 names I know off the top of my head when it comes to Anthrax is Belladonna, and I only know Belladonna by Belladonna. I don't even know what Belladonna's first name is. And then I know Scott Ian. The one thing I do know about Anthrax, specifically due to Scott Ian, is I could hang with Scott Ian no problem, man, without even talking music. Dude is such a geek into such a nerd stuff. We could just nerd out completely. So yeah, I'm cool with, that way. Scott Ian also is married to Meatloaf's daughter. That's interesting. As I was saying with the mix here, they all sound like they were all recorded in the same room, but all recorded in the same room at different times. You know, everything sounds too clean, too separated. There's no warmth and togetherness at all in the production. It's really... I would have loved a chance at producing this album and mixing this. Like, okay, so this album is produced by Anthrax and Mark Dodson, mixed by Steve Thompson and Mike Barbiero. And for having that many people working on this, the overall sound should have been better. It really should have been better. And it's the overall sound that really hurts this album for me as I'm going on and on and on here. It's not even that it's bad, it's just, it should have been better. Ozzy's got albums from this time period. They don't sound that bad. Like No More Tears, 1 year after this, the Black Album 1 year after this. Dr. Feelgood was, before this, and all of them have these wonderful, thick, rich, full sounds. But this one, it doesn't. And it's a shame because there's some good tunes on here. Speaking of, let's get into the tunes. Time opens up the album. Oh, I also have another complaint I have about this album, I don't know if this is an Anthrax thing in general, is you can't always figure out which song is which by the song title. Some, yes. Other ones, definitely not. Time is a good tune. It opens up the album well. I enjoy it for the most part. Blood is after that. Blood is another one where it's not bad. I enjoy it. It's interesting because first 3 songs on this average at 7 minutes. There are a few songs on here that definitely go under, and it is interesting how many songs are in the long-ish realm. The next track, Keep It in the Family, that's track 3. This one actually is the first one that kind of stands out, has I'm going to say this very loosely, a singable chorus. According to when I did my search online, track 4 is the song that they performed on Married with Children, In My World. I hope I remember that correctly. Gridlock is followed by that. I actually enjoy Gridlock, but this is one of those ones where the song title doesn't do the song proper justice. Intro to Reality I thought was fantastic. Really, really good piece. I believe it's an instrumental. I could be wrong. Or it's an instrumental that kind of rolls into the next track perfectly. I'm going to actually have to check on this one. because when I'm listening to it, most of the time I've been listening to it, I've been working on my backyard in the video footage you can see here that's playing over top instead of my beautiful face. Yeah, Intro to Reality is an instrumental, which goes into Belly of the Beast, and those are wonderful songs. Really, really good tunes. Really, really wish they had sounded better. I'd love to get my hand on this to remaster it, see if I can get a better sound out of it. Got the Time is, I believe, the most popular song off of here. That one was a cover, and I forget who the cover was from. All right, give me a second here. Bring that up really quickly in my notes. Joe Jackson cover. And the episode of Married with Children is called My Dinner with Anthrax, which is an absolutely hilarious episode, but did absolutely nothing to inspire me into getting into Anthrax. And I think that's because of the song they used, because they used In My World. If they'd used Got the Time, or actually kind of any of the back half of the album, because then after Got the Time, you're in a hatred, and other than its cute little spelling of H8RED, I wasn't a bad tune either. One Man Stands I thought was really decent, and Discharge is way hardcore punk, man. That's got some major punk ass vibes going on in that one. Major punk ass vibes. Other than the fact that it's way too long and it's got guitar solos. I like the album artwork too. The album artwork's pretty cool. It really is. I really want to like this album. I do. It's the sound quality and production that really, as you can clearly tell, as I've been rambling this whole time about it, it is that which holds me back on this album so much. But realistically, track 6 through track 11, I think are really, really good. I really get into them. Hatred is about the only one that kind of, I go so-so on with the last half there. But on the first half, Blood's not bad, and Keep It in the Family is really decent. Gridlock's not bad either. Gridlock for me just suffers from the fact that it's got a name that doesn't work for the song for me, sort of. I am definitely going to keep exploring Anthrax, okay? And believe it or not, I got SOD coming up next. Not necessarily next, but I've got 2 albums from SOD that are going to be coming up. And I have to say the SOD, because I can't remember if it's Stormtroopers of Destruction or something like that. I can't. That's why I got to use SOD. So, I'll definitely be coming back to Anthrax again as well. We'll be getting into that side band of SOD. And Wasp will be coming up as well as some other stuff I haven't decided yet, because I have to mix some stuff in. So I'm not done with Anthrax, but I'm not thrilled with Anthrax, I don't know. So far, my favorite Anthrax song is still the one on the last Action Hero soundtrack, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I liked Intro to Reality. That was really good for an instrumental. And nothing against Belladonna. I think, okay, so of all the thrash bands, okay, because I've covered everything from Metallica. I've covered most of Megadeth's catalog. I know there's a couple albums I'm missing out of for reviews. Getting into Anthrax here, I have not covered any Slayer, and yes, I can cover Slayer if people want me to cover Slayer. I don't know how much people are going to like what I say about Slayer, because I've never been a fan of Slayer. Of the big 4, okay? it's easy to see why the bands are in the order that they're in. And I think a lot of it is the production, man. Yeah, I'm going with that. You know, but, you know, okay, so 1990, like I said, Black Album would have been released a year after this. This would have been between Rust and Symphony for Megadeth. I don't know where it would have been on the Slayer front. So when you look at its contemporaries to compare it to, Justice, that's the problem with this album. Like, when I want to compare it to contemporaries, I have to with Megadeth. I'd have to go back to So Far So Good So What for the production sound and whatnot to kind of give it an accurate comparison. But I do musically like this album better than Rust in Peace. That is for sure. If this album had had the production that Rust in Peace had on it, had the sound quality that Rust in Peace had on it, this would have been a much better album than Rust in Peace, for sure. Not as good as Symphony. Or Countdown. What's the name? Is the album Symphony? No, it's Countdown. Whatever the hell the name of the album. The Mega. Oh man, blanking. Sorry guys. Comment section, remind me down there. Okay. Where I'm going at is I have rambled way too much. This album sucks because of the production, the mixing, and everything else like that, but it could have been a really, really good album otherwise. I think it's a decent album. It's worth checking out. I think I actually wouldn't mind getting my hands on a vinyl of this. Check out a vinyl and see if the vinyl makes me think better, think the vinyl sounds better. That's I think that's where I'm going with this. Unless Drew ends up buying himself a remaster. I don't know. If a remaster gets made. No. Anyway, all right, I've rambled on way long enough. Let me know what you think down below, folks. That's what the comment section is for. Drop me a line. Let me know what you think. Should I continue talking about Anthrax? Should I keep pouring into Anthrax? SOD is coming no matter what. I've got 2 albums from SOD lined up to go. Wasp is coming, as I've said. I've got 2 albums, actually, for Wasp that are going to be coming. I'm going to get into some Sword as well. That's all courtesy of Drew. I'm going to start rating a lot of Drew's albums. Just because I got to cut down on my buying albums for a while because of the project I got working on here. It's sucking up my CD money. All right, folks. That's it for now. Comment on your way down there. Like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. Please and thank you. A couple links worth checking out. Peace, love, take care.